We're talking about 90 miles per hour wind, but look at these boats behind me. This is the Tracker Boat Yard in Phillipsburg. To get anywhere, very difficult. You can see the guardrail behind me. It was once bolted into the concrete, and it is just torn off into the water like it was nothing. There are parts of road all over town. If you drive around, you will see just huge slabs of the roadway that has been ripped away. You can see the force of the water. Just take a look at the trees. Someone see that officer shot and killed last night. A tragedy for his family, for the police family, and really the entire town of Clinton, and even statewide law enforcement just grieving his death this morning. They are still searching for him. Take a look at his picture. You said his name there. 39-year-old Ian McCarthy, still on the run. Here is a look at him. They say eyes out, all eyes out, and up and down the highways in Missouri right now, you will see an increased police presence looking for this guy. Steve, back out live now. You can see these orange cones behind me. This is where the whole incident went down. It was an otherwise routine traffic stop, although that's debatable among law enforcement that any of them are routine. But this is where it happened. McCarthy was just being pulled over for a registration violation when everything went awry very quickly. Let me show you what they say happened. The homeowner tells us that he was just letting his dogs out after work like he does every day. Well, all the while, the sheriff's office says they were looking for a man who they believe to be possibly armed and dangerous, a suspect on the loose. So the sheriff says that when you come up on a vacant building, you can't just walk by it if there's a guy on the loose. So they walked through the property. But little did they know, when they came out the other side, the back door, they were in an enclosed fence, and he says 3 pit bulls were in there with him. He said he felt threatened by one of them, so the deputy shot.
Sarah, when it comes to salt, there's really so much it can do.
Right, yeah, at some point it certainly loses its saltiness, so to speak, but traffic right now, Ethan, is still looking pretty good. In fact, a snowplow just went by, but you can see everyone here on Sunshine right by 65 driving at their normal speed. Makes me a little bit nervous, but hey, who am I? They have been treating it, and right now it looks pretty good. But if you see over here, the parking lot, once they clear the snow, they're concerned about that weather Abby's talking about, because eventually underneath the snow, it's just a solid sheet of ice.
Take a look at this, though. The Welcome Springfield magazine. Yeah, you flip it over and you will see the Stand Against Trafficking Coalition with their ad plastered on the back saying, you know what, sex trafficking happens here. Be on the lookout for it. It also happens in rural communities all across the Ozarks. And they're hoping to get the word out and say a type of raid like the one we saw last week is really just evidence of that and gives people a, hey, now you know what to look out for. Now you know that this is truly happening here. Brandon, thank you for the weather. What a perfect weekend it is. 8,000 people is what they're estimating here tonight. Lots of stuff to do for the whole family. This is for maybe some of the older kids. You got the kayaks going on. It is open for business, has been all day, but the door isn't quite exactly fixed. They have a sign on the door, we are open, but no more glass sliding doors like it was last night. It could have been a lot worse, though. 3 or 4 people inside that lobby last night. We talked to other addicts today who say that behavior is really not surprising.
Why'd you do it? Because I won't give him my medication.
He still talks about him, and sometimes he'll ask me where he's at.
Mary Brentforder has moved from sadness to anger. Her son was a friend of Riddick Tudor. She's upset that it's been 7 months since Riddick died, and still no charges against the man accused of killing him.
I don't know if everyone got all their ducks in a row, or they're just got partial ducks.
This man, Lonnie Yeager, was behind the wheel last September when police say he plowed into 5 people just outside the school playground, 2 staff members and 3 students, killing Riddick, who was only 10 years old.
What we've heard about his medical issues, that he shouldn't be driving at all.
Yeager had previously been arrested for driving without a license, driving while intoxicated, and he told police that he had a brain injury years prior and has never had a valid license.
Shocking. Very shocking.
That case against him was somehow recently dismissed. We went out this morning and captured this, Lonnie Yeager driving again. And parents tell us he's been doing so for months. But tonight we've learned it's perfectly legal. The Department of Revenue tells us they issued him a valid license just 2 weeks ago. Mary is asking how.
I think the doctors don't know what they're doing, or the DMV don't know what they're doing.
We stopped by Lonnie's house today to talk to him about how he got a license when he has a court-ordered guardian and the courts have deemed him incapacitated. He was home but would not come to the door. So many still wanting answers in an increasingly disturbing case.
When will we know? Why is it fair for him to not be charged?
29-year-old Cannon Ferris was killed. He was almost home from work. He was literally pulling into his driveway when police say a 21-year-old driver was running from them, T-boned his car, killing Ferris. Now that 21-year-old driver is looking at possible charges of second-degree murder. The lines painted on the road, an awful reminder of early Sunday morning. 12:30 a.m., Cannon Ferris's family could not believe what they saw.
T-boned him and the car was ripped in half. He was thrown out of the car over to where the flowers are.
A Blind Hill, speed limit 25. Police say they went to pull over a 21-year-old driver for speeding, and he took off even faster.
K2. It's my understanding why he ran.
One officer pursued him for about a minute, they tell us, then stopped his pursuit. But the young man, they say, kept speeding away.
The suspect continued on west on Broadway for a few blocks and went over a hill, and when he went over the hill, that's when the accident occurred.
Cannon Ferris was pulling into his driveway. He'd just gotten off work at Sonic and was almost home safe.
He was a very good man. He had a son and a girlfriend that he was doing right.
His little 3-year-old pride and joy doesn't yet understand the loss.
Can I see that?
If you're going to put other people at risk and run away from the police, if you're already doing something criminal and you do something even more severe by killing somebody, you don't deserve to be out there.
I feel that the police should also be prosecuted to some point, because there's no reason to be chasing somebody through a 15-mile-an-hour zone. No reason. There's too many, even if it's at night, there's too much on this road.
To say there is a certain way that the officer has to perform a pursuit, I cannot do that because different aspects bring in different things into the pursuit. So that's what we have to look at and then make a determination whether or not everything was followed correctly.
He lost a good person. He's a really good kid.
And the 21-year-old driver, no charges filed yet. The officers here are actually asking for second-degree murder charges. Again, officers say he had drugs on him, K2. Perhaps that's why he was running. But we will release his name if and when those charges come down. And Ethan, he still is in serious condition tonight in a Springfield hospital.
They're killing relentless, their tactics terrorizing.
3,000 women has been kidnapped and enslaved, and 3,000 men and boys has been killed. And he was on the mountain with his family. He was watching because the mountain, ISIS could not reach them because they have to walk, but they have to survive. They run. And they were watching what the ISIS doing to his village, to his people, killing.
Yusuf Shaheen, or Malo, was in the middle of it all, fighting for his people, the Yazidis, a highly persecuted religious minority in northern Iraq. ISIS's goal is to wipe them out. Genocide.
He hit 2 times. And he was lucky enough that he is already survived. And his elder brother killed.
His older brother, in fact, was a translator for 2 Americans, both local businessmen in the Ozarks who have a heart and conviction to help.
His brother was an integral part of delivering food, medicine, and comfort to thousands of civilians who were being literally shot at minutes before the group I worked with was ministering to them.
Springfield attorney Tim Hayes, a man from a world away, is how Malo ended up so far from his homeland in Springfield, having never even seen an airplane.
There was a lot of prayer. There were a lot of people praying for it.
Hayes and Branson eye doctor Todd Pearson met Malo at Malo's brother's funeral. They wanted to pay it forward for what Malo's brother had done to help them help the persecuted.
If we're to be 100% honest, it's a very slim chance that we're going to get this opportunity for you. But we're going to try. We're going to try our best because we love you, we loved your brother, and we'll see what happens.
There's seemingly infinite government red tape to get through, extreme vetting, the whole nine, yet somehow, some way.
It is a miracle. It is a miracle.
Here we are. Hayes and Dr. Pearson footed the bill and lined up support from right here in Springfield. The Missouri Eye Institute's Dr. Osborne agreed to do the eye surgery for free, and the Saving Sight Eye Bank donated the needed corneal tissue. There was a chance it wouldn't take, but given the miraculous journey to this point, you guessed it.
He's doing very well. He's, I think with the new glasses, he'll be seeing well enough to pass the driver's test.
Near perfect vision once again after almost 3 years of blindness and pain. His help came from above, he says.
They said the people, America is beautiful, the people are more beautiful.
Now comes his time to pay it forward and help his people fight to simply exist.
And he's going to go back and be a blessing to his people.